Hello and welcome back to My Mom's Basement, ladies and gentlemen. It is Robbie Fox, and I am back with UFC President Dana White ahead of UFC 279 this weekend. Diaz versus Chimaev. It's a huge fight. How are you, Dana? I know you're at the end of a round of interviews. I always feel like, have people pissed him off right before me? What's his mood like?
No, I'm always in a good mood when I talk to you.
All right,
You're
well,
one
I
of the you're
appreciate
one of
that.
the good guys. You're one of the guys I actually enjoy talking to.
As I said, this weekend we've got UFC 279 in the main event. We'll see possibly the last fight on Nate Diaz's UFC career. It's the last fight on his contract. You've said it's truly been a blast dealing with the Diaz brothers this week. You said, even though in the moment sometimes it feels hectic, looking back, it's all been fun. When you said that in the post-fight presser, is there like a specific Diaz fight build or one or two that come to mind for you?
There's so many. There's so many things that have gone on with the Diaz brothers and Nate personally. And it's all been good. I mean, listen, the one thing that I don't do, like the other day that I guess Nate was talking to ESPN, was talking about me and him getting into it at the club that night. I don't talk about any of this stuff. I don't tell the media anything. I have stories for days that are, yes, fucking batshit crazy nuts and all kinds of stuff. But I don't tell the media anything.
When
Even
I
a great guy like you.
when I saw that story come out and Nate started talking about that, I couldn't believe it had taken so long to come to light. Like, how did I know you don't, but how did Nate Diaz not bring that up before? I couldn't believe
There's
it.
so many things that go on behind the scenes here that nobody knows about. I mean, so many things
Yeah.
every day. This is like a fucking shit show every day. It's a nutty circus here every day, and there's all kinds of crazy stuff that happens, and nobody ever finds out.
One thing we sort of found out about this week, because it didn't turn into a big thing, thankfully, didn't turn into an AEW type thing. Hamzat and Paula Costa at the UFC
Yeah.
Performance Institute kind of getting
See,
into it.
those type of things. Somebody had their cell phone out. That would have never got out either. Somebody had their cell phone out in one of the camps, filmed it and posted it, and you know what I mean.
I was gonna ask, like, we know the Performance Institute is home to so many fighters. Does that happen more than we hear about?
We're in the fight business, man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? These guys are all fighters. This place is packed, whether it's here or at the Apex or whatever it is, with fighters all the time. Then we go. Then every Saturday we have fights, and if you look over on the side, the section to the left for me, it's the fighter sections where all the fighters are. And a lot of them are backstage, and there's always something going on.
I mean, Michael Chandler and Dustin Poirier kind of got into it on Fighter Row not too long ago, and that fight is now booked, right? So, like, sometimes it legitimately leads you guys in a direction.
It legitimately can lead us in a direction too if you guys don't know about it. You know what I mean? Stuff
Yeah.
goes on behind the scenes that we know, and we already know that there's some friction or animosity there, or whatever the deal might be, and we make the fight.
Another behind the scenes thing that I'd like to ask you about is your meeting with Mark Zuckerberg. You said that he came off like a true fan of the sport and kind of knew his shit. Can you share any of the actual like mixed martial arts related things you talked about? Is Mark Zuckerberg, just out of curiosity, is he like a Ryan Hall guy? Is he like got favorite fighters? He just seems like a guy who would be like, "Oh, Ryan Hall's my favorite fighter." I don't know why. That comes to mind for me.
He does have favorite fighters, and he's absolutely totally into the sport. I mean, he loves the sport. You know how it is when you first start training in mixed martial arts, and you start to learn all this stuff. It literally becomes addictive, and there's no doubt that's where he's at right now. I mean, I'm not going to talk about things that we talked about, but yeah, he loves the sport, man.
Unreal. That must have been some meeting.
And
This is the first
his
time you met
wife's
him?
his wife's favorite fighter is Mackenzie Dern.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, he shot me a text and said, "Let's do dinner."
What a strange meeting of the minds that is to me. Mark Zuckerberg and you just seems like polar opposite personalities.
Yeah, you, and really it wasn't actually. You have a perception of people before you meet them. I actually liked Mark a lot. He was very down to earth and much more normal than I expected. You have a perception before you meet people. He's actually a really good dude.
You're in the war room now. I know you didn't get to have your post UFC Paris matchmaking meeting on Tuesday. Have you had it since?
No, I still haven't had the meeting. It's been a crazy week for me. We haven't had matchmaking yet this week.
I was going to ask, Paul Acosta called out Robert Whitaker, and Robert Whitaker is just in a very interesting position right now. He's beat so many guys in the division. He's been so dominant against a lot of them, and he's had the two fights against Adesanya. So he's just in a interesting position, and I wanted to know if you had any thoughts about that.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Yeah, I don't know. That's one of the things to be figured out. That whole interesting. What's going to shake things up in that division is whatever happens in the title fight. You know, Israel's next title fight. So we'll see.
And that's on the Madison Square Garden card. I did allude to it earlier, but the Michael Chandler Dustin Poirier fight is official. It's finally happening. We heard rumors about it for months. Was there any doubt that that was going to come together for this card? I know it was obviously like the intention for a while.
Yeah, I mean, there's always doubt. You never know how it's going to go, or if it's going to end up on the card you wanted to end up on. You know, there's all kinds of personal reasons or lots of different things, lots of different reasons. You know, I was just on the phone with Ioli a minute ago, and he's like, "Why haven't you made John Jones versus Stipe yet? You know, what's going on? Why if it's that easy? Trust me, it's not as easy as people think it is. And if you don't think that, I don't want to say we got John Jones versus Stipe coming before the end of the year. I'll fight December. You're crazy. Nobody wants to announce, you know, John Jones at heavyweight more than I do. But this stuff takes time, and there's lots of different obstacles that you have to, you know, and hoops you have to jump through. And again, I don't tell the media jack shit. So I just let you know, and everybody tries to do that. Why isn't it happening? Who's not doing the fight? Who's doing this? And then you get all the fucking weirdos who start, coming up with all the conspiracy theories and, who wanted to fight who? Did you make Diaz fight Chimaev or the Chimaev? And shut the fuck up. The fight's on Saturday. Watch it or don't.
I'll be watching it. I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of questions about the fight. Even if you believe, I think, that Chimaev is going to run through him, I think there's a lot of questions that fight's going to answer that how could you not want to know the answer to as an MMA fan? Another fight I'd like to ask you about now. Do you feel at all caught between a rock and a hard place when you see your guys, Conor McGregor and Hasbulla, beefing on Twitter, feuding a bit? I know you're close with both fighters, so how do you feel about that?
Conor better watch himself. He runs into Hasbulla, he's going to be in some trouble.
We also just missed each other at the Rage Against the Machine concerts in New York City. I think you went to the exact show like after the one that I went to. We kind of DM'd about it, but I just wanted to ask how the show was from your perspective because I thought it was incredible. It was my first time getting to see the band.
The last time I went, I didn't want the show to end. It was so fucking good, man. And that's exactly how I felt this time. They're the most incredible live band of all time. And even though Zach blew his Achilles out, nobody has more energy and stage presence than this guy, even sitting down. It's unbelievable. So you can imagine if you went to Rage Against the Machine and he was actually healthy and could do what he does. I'm telling you, no better live band, man. They're incredible. I can't wait to see him again.
And Tim Comerford gave you one of his basses right after the show, right?
He did, man. Yeah, I went backstage and he gave me his guitar, signed by all of them, and yeah, it couldn't have been a better night.
Is that in the office yet? Is that getting mounted on a wall?
It's already hung.
Nice.
It's already hung. It was hung the next day.
I love it. And before I get you out of here, give me your Patriots prediction before the season starts. I know a lot of people are doubting them. You think playoff hopes?
Yeah, they always get doubted. Listen, Belichick is a genius. He always figures out how to build an incredible team with guys you never heard of. And then once they play a couple of years for him, they become huge stars and demand big money on other places. I don't think that's going to change. It's hard to tell from the preseason with the Patriots because what you can tell is Belichick doesn't give a shit about preseason. He just throws guys in there to check them out. You can't really tell what the Patriots are going to do till the first couple games.
That picture of Belichick in the Performance Institute with the title on, like looking so happy. Dana, I don't know if I've ever seen a smile like that on Bill Belichick's face.
He's awesome. Again, you have a perception of somebody before you're going to meet him. All the years that I've been a Patriots fan, I never really got the opportunity to really spend any time with Belichick. And I did when he came here. What a great guy. Very smart, calculated, listens a lot and likes to learn from other people. And could not have been a better person. I really like the guy.
I didn't realize you guys didn't have a relationship before that. That stuns me.
Kraft, Brady, this guy, that guy, all throughout the years. But Belichick, and Belichick is one of those guys that doesn't seem very approachable. Like if you approach him, you know, you're going to get what you expect from Belichick if you approach him, but it's not the case at all.
All right, Dana, I really appreciate the time. I know you got another hit to do right now. UFC 279, Diaz versus Chimaev this weekend. I'm looking forward to the card. There's a ton of great fights on the undercard other than this. Tony Ferguson's on this friggin' card. Like, come on. Yeah.
100%. Him and Leach is going to be awesome. The Kevin Holland Rodriguez fight is going to be awesome. The card is stacked with incredible fights.
Yep. All right, Dana, thank you for the time. Talk to you next time.
Always a pleasure, buddy.